Hey guys, my name is Christy Taylor, and this week's video is not going to be anything funny. It's not going to be a challenge video. I am actually going to tell you guys a story that happened when I was 12, and it had a major impact on my life today. So, if you don't like personal videos, then you can exit out of this video and wait till next week's, because this is what's happening. So, it may get emotional. It may get really hard for me to talk about certain parts of the story because of how it affected me. But I will try and retain those very emotional moments to tell you guys what happened August 2004. So, I was over at one of my friends' houses, and it was a block away, and it was her little sister's birthday party, and we were having the time of our life because we were jumping on her trampoline. We went over to her neighbor's house, which was one of our friends, and we swam in a swimming pool. We came back over to her house, and we started jumping on her trampoline again, doing flips, falling off of her trampoline, and having fun, as any 12-year-old should. It was during the day. It was hot out, nicest day, and so I started getting a really bad headache. And so I stuck my head in the sprinkler, trying to cool down, and maybe that would help. It didn't. So I went inside, and I asked her mom if there was anything that she could do to help with what I thought was a headache. Just a regular headache. So, she gave me a bottle of water and an ice pack, and told me to go lie upstairs on my friend's bed. That's what I did. I took the bottle of water, I was drinking the bottle of water, I had an ice pack on my head, and my friend's mom ended up calling my mom, asking her if it would be okay if she gave me an Advil, explaining to my mom that the symptoms that I gave her, she thought I just had either a heat stroke or a really bad headache. My mom said, well, I'll come over. I'll see how bad she is. And if she's okay to just take an Advil and hydrate herself, then she can stay. If not, she would like to take me home. And so my mom ended up coming over. I was a block away. And so maybe 5 minutes. And so my mom walked up the set of stairs, and she came into the room, and she said, "That is not my daughter." And that's the hardest thing that I had to hear. That is not my daughter. My mom said, call an ambulance, call 911, because there is something wrong. So they called 911, an ambulance came, and so male and female paramedics came upstairs, and they assessed me. I was 12 years old. I played as many sports as I possibly could. Volleyball. I was in the Canamera Games. I did figure skating. I danced. Anything that I could do to keep myself active, I was a part of. I had straight A's. I was the perfect student. I was the perfect daughter. And the paramedics assessed me of, it still makes me laugh to this day, they assessed me of being on drugs. I was having the time of my life, as any regular 12-year-old girl should be doing. And so they asked me to stand up, and at this point in time, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't communicate. I couldn't talk. And I had no idea why. And that's scary. Scary as all hell. If you can't communicate with someone, and you can't tell them what's wrong, it's scary. So the paramedic asked me to stand up, and so I could process that. I was like, okay, I need to stand up. I tried to stand up, and me not knowing that one of my legs wasn't working, I couldn't control it. I ended up falling over onto my friend's side table. And so the parents helped me up, and still disgusts me to this day on what came out of the paramedic's mouth was, "Christy, I know you can stand up. Stop being such a drama queen." I couldn't stand up. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't talk. All I could do was hear. And that's scary. So I got carried down into the ambulance. My mom followed the ambulance, and they brought me to the local hospital. And they brought me to an ER. They brought me to ER, and the doctor had me in there for a couple of minutes, and he came out saying, "Christy Taylor," which is me, is having an ischemic stroke. I could only imagine what was going through my parents' head. I never wanted to put them through any of the stress. So they transferred me to another hospital, which McMaster Hospital is the most amazing hospital that I have ever been to. They supported me. They didn't give up on me. So they were amazing. I woke up to my dad's friend. My parents had very little sleep. My dad looked like a scary furry man because he didn't go home. My mom looked like she didn't sleep at all. It was scary. But the physiotherapy, after I was sitting up, after I could talk, maybe not clearly all the time, but I was able to now somewhat communicate what I was feeling to my family, the doctors. They helped me a lot, my family. It's amazing the things the medical field can do, but they helped me talk again. They were able to make me read stuff, read it back to them. Obviously, the words got mixed up sometimes. I would read something, and I would read it, and they would say, "Okay, what did you just read?" And then I would tell them, and they're like, that's not what it says. But it took a long time. I obviously had to do physiotherapy on my leg, on my arm, on my hand, on my foot, on my ankle, to learn how to walk again, how to use my hand again, because if you know what an ischemic stroke is, it's really hard. The brain damage that it caused on me was a golf ball size on the left side of my brain. And that's hard because when you try and do something that you should be able to do, that you know you can do, that you know that you used to be able to do, and you can't do it anymore, it's frustrating. And so I used to use my right hand for everything, and now I use my left hand for writing, for typing. After I got out of the hospital, we had a pool. My parents took me swimming in it. They introduced me to several physiotherapists. I had braces made for me. My first brace was this puppy, which held my hand open while I slept. Second thing, this one in my shoe. My foot went on top. Helped out a lot. Had a lot of downfalls, but I next to never wear this anymore because of the pain that it caused me. I now wear this. It is called a walk aid. It's a muscle stimulator, and it goes right below my knee on my right leg because that's the side that it affected. And it sends, once I attach it to my leg, it sends electric stimulants down to my ankle so my foot knows to lift itself up, because from the stroke I actually have drop foot, so I drag my toe a lot, I trip a lot, but when I'm wearing this, it helps out a lot, like a lot. The doctor programmed it to sense whenever I was bending my knee, and so when it sensed that I was bending my knee, it would send an electric stimulant down to my foot. So instead of wearing this massive brace, I wear this. It's to hold my thumb open, because when I'm upset, when I'm stressed, when I'm angry, my thumb likes to go inside my hand. As you can see right now, I'm stressed. But yeah, it helps me out a lot. I'm very self-conscious about how other people look at me. And I used to not be like this at all. But when people stare at me, I think they're staring at me because I walk differently. I may walk with a limp sometimes, but that's one thing that I hate, is when people just stare. They're just like, and I'm like, stop staring at me. I don't know what you're staring at, but stop staring at me. So after I got out of the hospital, at the time when I was in grade 6, before I had the stroke, I was getting bullied a lot. When I say a lot, it was on a daily basis. It sucked so much. Getting picked on because I was tall, just because girls are bitches, no matter what age. Girls are cruel. But after my stroke, it was different because they all came back, and I didn't understand why. It was because something happened. Something big happened, and I don't know why they came back, but honestly, I wish they didn't. A year after, I thought I had all my friends back. Something happened in track and field, and after that day, all of my popular friends, all of what I thought were my friends were gone. And I basically, from that point on, I changed. My hair was really dark, I wore dark clothes, wore really dark makeup, and it's because it was almost as if once you lose everything, all you can do is like go into a dark place. And but one girl noticed. She said it's not okay. It's not okay that people get treated like this. She said I know what it's like to be treated the way you feel right now. And from that point on, she became one of my best friends. Well, technically my only friend at the time. It's not okay to make fun of someone because of their appearance, because of possibly they have a disability, a learning disability, a physical disability, the way they look, what color they are. It shouldn't matter, because we're all human, we all make mistakes, and we are all different. That's what changed in my life, was noticing that, hey, doesn't matter how many friends I have, doesn't matter the quantity, it's the quality of friends. And from that point on, I didn't want to be in the popular crowd anymore. Through all of high school, I had to go to a lot of doctor's appointments, different hospitals. I had to miss out on a lot of events. I had to have injections, Botox injections, blood thinners, because my blood was too thick, and it was through a needle, so my parents had to give it to me at a certain amount of time. So sleepovers or no, at a certain time I had to go home because I had to have another needle. My parents were very watchful over me because they didn't want for what happened to happen again. And even though the doctors were like, oh, it's very rare for it to happen, it's so something that looms over my head, over my parents' head. Every time I get a headache, I'm taking Advil, and to this day I still get Botox injections in my hand and arm to loosen up my muscle. If I didn't have the stroke, I would probably still be I believe I wouldn't be as great as a person as I am today. You can go ahead and subscribe to my channel down below, or you can click the subscribe button up above, and so you guys can follow my videos every week. But I will leave the link below to my Instagram and Twitter. You guys can also check out my video from last week. It's of me giving my dog a puppy massage. That link will also be down below. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!